Asante Kotoko. Of course, not the current generation that you know.
But I believe if both coaches are watching, that's Abuka Wata and then also Karim Zito, then Prince, perhaps they might have an opportunity to re-sign some of these players. Look at the season they had. Perhaps they'll be watching and saying, "Yeah, I wish I had this guy in his prime." Especially with Amam Kwamriku and already how pleasing he's been on right hand side of attack. I believe Abubakar Attack, he just wished.
Most of them have been very, very, very active. Should I say? Especially those who throng the various parks for the Monday Stars. They're almost always there showing what they've got. The coaches may have a look at them. Well, I'll be surprised if any of them should get an opportunity to play for the current team, but opportunity gone a begging. Wisdom was flagged offside once again.
And that's the most frustrating part for Accra Hearts of Oak. The flag has gone up about 10 times already, and it's all due to the fact that the Kotoko defense are being smart. They know how pacey, the Accra Hearts of Oak attack is, so they're trying to play smart, but then they need to be cautious. Because they might try to find one legitimate ball through.
So Kotoko have an opportunity to come forward yet again. This time they want to go through the middle, good touch on the part of Joe Sam, and then on the far side where to contend with Amakwa Mreku. Joe Sam, Joe Louis interchangeably keeping the pressure on Hearts. That is Dankwe who stops them in their tracks. Lawrence Ajatete turns. Lawrence has a soccer academy that trains young footballers. And what job is he doing? Good skill. And he's still going through. That's a chance for Kumasi Asante Kotoko. Akwafo had his eyes on target. And the fans would applaud the effort.
His second attempt on goal, if I should put it, but the skill there to go past Dankwe. You can see Dankwe ruthlessly trying to chase him down. And then unfortunately, he just couldn't hit that one on target. Friends, it's always the skill for me. The ease with which he does it. And these are players we're saying haven't hit the pitch for a long time. He deserves credit for that run. Earlier on, we saw him trying to catch Samir J from about 40 yards out. But this was a bit closer. Unfortunately, it wasn't really precise. It wasn't on target.
Pass from Dankwe. Ajatete couldn't get to it. Recovered nicely by Amos. And now Akwafo. Good turn. Finds Godwin Ablodi. So nice to see the Kotoko players putting their passes together. This is what they used to do, and they used to do it very, very well once upon a time. This time on the far side, yes, Edupoku lays the pass through into the 18-yard box. Timely defending from the man in charge of defense for Accra Hearts of Oak today.
You're talking about one of his qualities, Prince, and that's it. That last-ditch tackle. Remember this guy? Rock solid in defense for Accra Hearts of Oak. And just look at that. It was timely. Just giving no room at all. Signaling no quarter for his opponent.
And once you mentioned Prince Edupoku, especially in a match against their arch rivals Accra Hearts of Oak, it is almost always cocksure that the next name you will hear who will be manning him in defense is Emmanuel Ama Senegal. Senegal is absent today. But those two had some rich battles, I can tell you, Josiah. Prince Edupoku was the marksman for Asante Kotoko, got some very important goals for the Porcupine Warriors, but almost always had a problem when he came up against Emmanuel Ama, also known as Senegal. Here we go with Accra Hearts of Oak build up once again. Dan Quay. Aja gives the ball away. Kwafu say thank you very much. The flip-flopping, overlapping, and then off target once again.
He still remains a danger man for Kumasi Asante Kotoko, and they are struggling to keep up with the skill. He's so swift with the ball. Apologies, with his arms raised over there, trying to apologize to his teammates. But there was nothing he could have done over there. Ajatete just went to sleep over there. Just look at that. Caught him from the the skill.
Good footwork there.
So imagine him in his prime. You'd pay to watch him.
You figure he would want to play in the current team?
Yeah, I think so. I think so. Maybe. It's just the age and the stamina that's lacking. But
exactly.
The skill is still there.
But we've seen players who have played with a lot of skill, less stamina. But they've also made it in the Premiership.
Yeah.
Let's see what opportunity comes for Accra Hearts of Oak out of this one. Wisdom gets to the ball. Can he go round his marker? In the 18-yard box, they're calling for the cross. Eventually, the cross comes through. Accra Hearts of Oak have been committed in the 18-yard box, but eventually headed away. Picked up by Godwin Ablode. Josiah was talking about the skills, and we were telling you for a fact that look, they can play in the Premiership. It's just that they may not have the stamina.
Exactly.
We saw for a very good example in Godwin Atram, who played for Accra Great Olympics a season or two, even after he had hung his boots and come to Ghana. Long ball in, can Akwafu get to it? Latches onto it first time. The idea was good. It only lacked the direction. And again, this for me is a learning opportunity for the younger generation to see these players who have gone past their prime but reliving it with ease.
Exactly. And on Friday I chanced upon the chairman of the MTN FA Cup committee, Wilson Arthur, and he spoke about the fact that they came up with this idea because they want the Gen Zs to have a feel of what these legends are about. It was what once Ghana football was about. Prince, they made the headlines. These were the players that pulled the crowd to our various stadiums, and each and every time our stadiums were filled to the capacity because of the brilliance and the ingenuity of some of these players.
I couldn't doubt you at all on that stage, and even to the extent that people went to the stadium to watch Hearts and Kotoko, not simply because it was Hearts and Kotoko, but for 2 or 3 players who stood out for their teams. Here comes Amos. He's got a sweet right foot. This time he looks for Akwafu and gets him. Flip didn't work, but they latch onto it again. Is another opportunity for Kotoko. Sekwame loses control. There's Charles Taylor. Of course, Charles Taylor made a name for himself first with Accra Hearts of Oak before switching over to Asante Kotoko, but it was Accra Great Olympics, and Osai goes up but can't deal with it. Oh, so unfortunate. So unfortunate. Hearts registering the first goal. Let's take a look at it again.
Yeah, and that came under duress. Just look at that. Trying to just pass the ball backwards to his goalkeeper, Seb Watson. Just look at that. Watson just couldn't keep that one out. But it was the pressure applied, all the way from attack. And it was a good pressure. We've spoken about the fact that they are playing with a high line, so they move, quite a distance towards the center circle. But then this time, this is what we are talking about. One ball, one pressure under duress, and it's one of the most unfortunate goals you ever find a team concede.
Own goal scored by Kotoko. It's now 1 goal to the good for the Porcupine to Accra Hearts of Oak. Own goal scored by Kotoko, and they're coming forward to see whether they can make amends. I'm sure they'll be buoyed up by this as they try and come forward, but misplaced pass will be picked up nicely by Gabriel Opokuware, and then will urge his colleagues to come forward. Back pass to Osei Boateng, miscalculated. Osei tried his very best, got fingertips to it, or tried to make a save. It didn't work. Here's Akwafu now. Lovely ball through the middle. Oh, Samir J to the rescue. But that was a sweet build-up.
That was what we were talking about. That was what I've been waiting for. The reflexes from Samir J. And again, Brains is Akwafu from the right-hand side. And just so unlucky. But Samir J still has, that prowess, that goalkeeping prowess. And one were the days when he used to be the number 1 for the Black Stars of Ghana. Really had a good time.
That was a good old days, wasn't it? Dankwe will come forward. Prince Edupoku tries to clip him from behind. He's penalized for that. And you realize that Edupoku has sort of drifted towards the left-hand side of the attack instead of playing the central role. I guess it is because he's not got too much steam to keep up with the running. Kotoko come forward again. Here's Amos. This could be dangerous. Late chip there, Samir J. Missed it the first time, grabbed it the second time of asking.
But some good response from Samieji. After that earlier save, yeah, it was an offside, but you give him credit, for going down in time to put his body right behind the ball. I think the Heart of Oak defense will need to step up, especially with their concentration. They are losing it a lot, and Kotoko are finding spaces, especially from the right-hand side, through Francis Akwafo.
Hearts would clear out their lines. Techi Mensah gets a foot to it, but Kotoko will pick up the pieces. They need to get themselves back into the game. That's a lovely pass through. They can Ablodi get his foot to it. And Accra Hearts will give away a first corner kick to Kumasi Asante Kotoko. We're still in the first half. So far, so good.
Still pushing for the equalizer, Kumasi Asante Kotoko. It was an unfortunate goal they conceded. It was such a brilliant ball, especially if a Hearts of Oak player had scored. But unfortunately, it didn't come from a Hearts of Oak player, and now they believe it's time for them to just draw level before even recess.
There's a corner kick headed away. Not the best of corner kicks from Kumasi Asante Kotoko's Prince Edupoku. But they'll come forward now. They're trying to keep Accra Hearts of Oak in their own half, as you can see. And it tells you the urgency with which they would want to fight back. Still coming forward. Osei Kwame. Mankwa gets the ball away from Osei Kwame's feet. And it's Asampong. Charles Taylor. The terror he was called back in the day.
Dazzling. Dazzling.
Showing a little bit of those rich silky skills, together with a partnership together with Don Bote and Ishmael Ado. What a formation that was. Can Wisdom keep it in play? This time it will go out for a throw in. There won't be time for the throw-in because the players will come off for the end of the half. It's been a good game so far. At least we've seen the touches that made these players who they were once upon a time. Don Bote, Ajatete, Techi Mensah, Ninanka Bruce. They're all in there. The Kotoko players have also lived up to expectation. Emmanuel Nkrumah, Amos Frimpong, Charles Taylor, Joe Sam, Francis Akwafo. Those were the good old days, and these were names that drew attention in terms of crowds to the various stadia everywhere they played.
Yeah, and at least we've seen snippets of what their games, used to be, and it's good for the younger generation as well, glued to their TV sets, or even, in the stadium, witnessing greatness being relieved over there. And Prince, for me, I just couldn't have missed this game. I just had to watch.
They still have the camaraderie.
Yeah, it's still there, and that togetherness, the oneness, and all that. But then it's been competitive, between the intervals, and this was the first highlight, the first real highlight of the game. You could imagine what only pushed him onto the
Edupoku was roaring to get his name on the score sheet, and again a little bit of a miscue in the 18-yard box of Kotoko. Osei went out there to make a save, didn't get there early enough. Hearts could not take the advantage, but they still kept pushing, probing, and coming forward. And this is where Akwafo took over. Lovely skill. Had the goal at his mercy.
So far he's been their danger man, Akwafo. Just look at that lovely skill again, the leg over.
Yeah, I'm loving every bit of it. The fact that these are players who are on the older side, but of course they play as if they are still playing in the Ghana Premier League or whichever leagues they are playing in their missed opportunity. But Hearts, it's just about putting pressure on their opponents, and it was this pass back to Osei Boateng that did them in. Osei did very well to get to the ball, but just could not control it from going into
credit to Wisdom and Love, 27 the disappointment of his league. It's coming from his own player. That's the pressure. I spoke about the fact that they were playing with the high line, the space between the goalkeeper and the last one for
a couple of players warming up for Old side, so I'm sure that the coaches want to bring some freshness. At least they want everybody to have a big part of the game. So Usman Gambo, I see warming up. Daniel Nieje is also warming up as well. Eric Donko, they're looking very big. These are players who want to get these fans made them willing to go to the stadium to watch them. It's always attaining time have a few Senegal players. But the bench for Accra Hearts of Oak, by the way, is Brady Morgan, Godwin Scott, Abid Douglas is also here. Charles Alote is here. Then William Bejeke, as well as say, of course, position keeper Lord Partey Kwoti. Yeah. Kwoti together with Ali Jarrah have a very, very odd story to tell, especially how they made it into the Accra Hearts of Oak team and established themselves as one of the stalwarts. I remember Ali Jarrah's first big game was when he was thrown into the fray by the late Salif Mansa of blessed memory in a game involving Manchester United, and he was just a young goalkeeper. And boy, Ali performed wonders.
Imagine that being the biggest test of your life. Get to man the post against Asante.
Yeah,
I think he passed that test very well.
Oh, he did, together with Kwoti. There was a game at the Accra Sports Stadium. Hearts won narrowly by 1-0. The frustrations that Kwoti gave the Kotoko forward on that day. Lovely sight to see. He was raised shoulder high at the end of 90 minutes. And the Accra Sports Stadium turned into a Kwoti show.
Interesting. Yeah, but I believe we'll see some fresh legs being introduced definitely for the second half. I've really enjoyed, Francis Akwafu from the right hand side for Asante Kotoko. He's really proven that, he didn't retire with his skill set and everything, but he still has it over there. And I'm itching to see the new players that will be thrown into the fray for us to enjoy. I've seen a bit of Charles Taylor. I've not really seen Dongote so far in the first half.
And Accra Hearts of Oak, they're back on the field. Kotoko are now coming back on the field. So we're expecting the second 45 minutes any moment from now. Godwin Ablode is captaining the Porcupine Warriors this afternoon, and Accra Hearts of Oak is captained by Jacob Nete. I'm not too sure if Jacob will be starting the second half. I think I've seen Amankwa Mreku with the captain's band, but let's wait for confirmation. A few changes will also be made by the benches of Kotoko. Kotoko have Robert Mensah as their head coach, assisted by John Owusu. And on the Hearts bench is Eben Dida. Any moment from now, the two teams will get onto the field of play and get themselves in readiness for the second 45, or the second half, I should say. Prince Edupoku, Godwin Ablode, Joe Sam, Joe Louise, Amos Frimpong, goalkeeper Osei Boateng, Gabriel Opoku Uwari. They get themselves in readiness for their second half. Hearts will be looking forward to also see whether they can double the scoreline. And confirmation seems to be coming through the fact that might captain the side for the second 45. Best to his coaching role together with Ibn Amadida. Accra Hearts of Oak have made a change as Jacob Neti has gone off. I want to believe that it's Douglas Nkrumah who has taken his place. Samir J keeps himself busy as he warms up for the commencement of the second half. Still to come is the big one that we're all expecting, is the MTN FA Cup final for the season 2025. And boy, what a clash we have on our hands. It would be Asante Kotoko taking on Golden Cakes. First incursion, Amos gets himself busy. Now, what kind of effect will this attack have on the defense of Accra Hearts of Oak? They give the ball away. The advantage will still stay with the Porcupine Warriors. A quick word there from our center referee between Tichi Mensah and Prince Edupoku. Issues resolved and we're good to go. Akwafo lines up behind the ball for the free kick. There's a one-man wall formed by Accra Hearts of Oak at this stage. Sami says one is enough. Charles Taylor has that duty.